Check, check. Check, check. Check, check, check. Check, check. Check, check. Cool. Alrighty. Looks like everything's good. Got everything where I need it to be. Everything's connected. All the chats are good. So many chats connected. All right. Let's get started here. So today I will be editing some photos I took while on a recent trip to Arizona. First time I've ever been to the desert, so that was kind of interesting. So yeah, I was trying to work with taking a mixture of portraits and landscapes. Obviously, I'm on this trip, and I want to get a lot of good landscape photography done because of how beautiful it is. We were going from Phoenix and then driving north up to the Grand Canyon, seeing all the sights along the way, and then driving back down, stopping in another couple places on the way back to Phoenix. But I did bring my family with me on this one, so there are a mixture of portraits that I had in there as well. I've cut those ones out today. I'm just going to focus on a couple of the good landscape shots I got. I want to show you guys how I edit some of these, what I'm kind of looking at when I edit landscape photos and such. And I have a kind of a different variety as well available. So we can actually take a look at it, some different perspectives, some environments that are kind of different as well. So those would be cool. So let's get going here. Let me take you back to my desktop so you guys can see what I'm looking at. Here I go. I have them all loaded into Lightroom already. I went ahead and culled through. I had 890 photos I took. I'm not going to make you guys suffer through that. I don't feel like you deserve that. So I culled them already. Got it down to these 7 right here that were kind of the bangers of the bunch. Various times a day, various lighting, various locations, different an environment, and for each one of them, as you can tell, they're all kind of shot in different places. Some of them close-ups, some of them wide angles. So it'll be good. It'll be fun. Let's take a look at this, see what we've got here. So this first one, as you can tell, is kind of, let me go and develop here. There we go. This first one, as you can tell, is kind of a close-up. I was getting some detail here on some dead cactus that was out there. So you can tell my focus point was right about here in the midway of this cactus. And then as it comes closer to me, we start to lose some focus up there. What was this? I shot this one at a 2.8 because I love the detail right here. You know, to be honest, if I had to reshoot this again, I'd probably shoot it closer to a 5 or a 6. I don't know how I feel about the focus coming, the rest of this coming out of focus so quickly. Like basically you get this band from right about here to right about here that's in focus. Right here. About a 8-inch band that's in focus and everything else is out of focus. That's okay though. We got some cool texture here on this dead cactus. So let's take a look. Let's go ahead and start by raising the exposure on this a little bit. Not too much. Here. And for color and such on these photos, I think I want to go towards a Kodak film stock maybe a little bit of a Western, so maybe add some grain into it. You know, just because this is the desert, it's kind of a cool environment like that, you know? Make it look very, very Western, you know? So let's take a look here. Let's fix some of these blacks real quick. Bring it to about there. Let's fix some of these whites. Those till those are all in focus here. Okay, so those are all within the boundaries. We can see up here on the histogram. Sorry for you guys that are vertical. Right now, you're not going to be able to see really the histogram, but that's okay. So the histogram shows that everything's inside the boundaries. That's why this picture was originally shot a little dark like this. Because I want to make sure I'm not blowing out any highlights. I want to keep everything kind of within the bounds of being able to edit this raw. So that's why this clouds up here will bring those back down a little bit so that we can actually see some variation in those clouds, give us a little bit of interest up here. I'm trying to shoot for a 2/3 perspective here. So that's why the horizon is up on this 1/3 line up here, because I wanted this to be my focus. So I wanted to get as much of the cactus in the photo as possible. But I also want to show some of the clouds so the viewer could see kind of a little bit more of the environment that's going on. Let's go to the tone curve. Let's go ahead and give this a standard S curve for contrast. I'm going to go ahead and bring up this black here a little bit, fade those out. I'll fade them to about right there. I think looks good. Let's go ahead and give this a little bit of punch up in the top and the highlights. Let's bring down the mids, blacks a little bit. Not too much. We can do about there. See, we're already starting to get that kind of Western look by bringing up those blacks, giving those a little bit of fade, as you can see down here in this bottom right corner. The original, edited so far. Original, edited so far. So yeah, let's see. All right, let's go to the color mixer here. What colors am I wanting to stand out in this? Let's go to saturation. I'm liking these yellows and oranges, right? Let's add a little bit more saturation in these yellows and oranges. Give these just a little bit more. Let's punch up those oranges just a little bit. Not too much. Just enough that they can be seen here. So we do have some green in here too. I want to leave the green. I like how it's already kind of muted. I don't know how much I'm going to play with the green. Let's go to the hue for the green. What happens if we punch that more towards yellow? I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not seeing a whole lot. You know, sometimes you just got to be honest with yourself. Sometimes I just don't see a change, you know? I do want to take these yellows a little bit more towards the orange. So maybe I'll take these just a little bit towards the orange there. Let's go to the luminance of the green. Again, not seeing much of a difference. I don't know where these greens stand. Let's find out. So I clicked the little dropper tool right here next to luminance. That way I can select exactly what color I want to see changed. Oh my goodness, let me see if I can get it. There we go. Let's pulling up the luminance of it, pulling down. Ooh. We're going to grab some stuff there, some yellows. All right, I am going to bring the luminance, the yellows down a little bit. I think I like that. This is way too much, right? So I want to bring down the luminance. Here we go. Right about there. I think that's good. Now, let me see if I can actually catch some of these greens here. Let's go right here. Let's grab this. Okay, that's still in the yellow range, it's saying. Even if I grab this leaf right here, it's kind of still telling me it's in the yellow range. Let's grab it again. Yeah, see? On the right, only yellow and orange are changing. Nothing else. So this is just a variation of yellow and orange, not green, kind of like your eyes are telling you it is. Okay. All right, let's give this a little bit of a grade. I think I might want to go yellow, orange. Let's start with the highlights. Let's take the highlights to yellow. I think it's right in there somewhere. Let's pull those in. So that's a lot of yellow. Pull that back. Let's just do a little bit of yellow in the highlights here. So we want to give it the sense that the environment was actually when I was there and viewing it, right? It was hot, it was warm. Everything seemed dead. Let's go to the shadows. Let's add a little bit of blue into the shadows. You know what's funny is I don't think I like that. Let's go back around to the red. See what happens when we add a little bit of red in the shadows. Okay. Okay. Let's just add a little bit of red in the shadows there. Just give it a little bit of warmth, a little bit of heat, you know? A little bit of that salsa in this. All right. Now, the main feature of this photo, I think I'm mostly done with color right now. I think I'm good. Let's go to lens effects real quick. Lens corrections. I want to enable profile corrections. So that's going to straighten this out a little bit. I was punched in here on 24 millimeters. I'm using a Sony 24-70 GM2 on this photo. So I'm all the way back at 24 millimeters, which means that this photo was gonna bowl. It's gonna curve a little bit at 24 millimeters. If that's what I want, that's cool. But if you want to take that out, you can always go in Lightroom, go to lens corrections, and go to remove chromatic, enable profile corrections. So I click that, watch. See how the photo kind of like punches out the middle, punches in. Now I'm going to enable the correction again, punches out. So it kind of punches out the middle a little bit. Do I like that? I don't think so. I think I like the way the lens made this look at 24. I like the kind of bold fisheye kind of look. I think we're going to leave this as is. All right, let's go back to some basic adjustments now. Now that I feel like I kind of got the coloring a little bit where I want, I think I'm going to add a little bit of saturation into this. I generally like my photos pretty desaturated, so I'm not going to add a whole lot of saturation here. I might even bring that back down to like a 5. I think right about there is good. Okay. Now let's work on this. Wait, do I want to go to that yet? Now let's stick with some general. I think I might want to add a little bit of texture into this photo. Not too much. Just a little bit. Let's go to a 5 on this. Just to give this cactus edges here a little bit of texture on them. Because that's kind of what we're looking at, right? That's kind of where our focus is on the texture. This is a very texture-heavy photo, so that's where you're going to play around with, you know, the actual texture slider and maybe a little bit of clarity. Don't overdo it on texture, though, guys. A lot of people like really go nuts on texture, and it makes it look like absolute trash. Yeah, don't do that. I don't think we need to dehaze on this necessarily. The photo looks pretty crisp. There's not a lot of atmosphere getting in the way because I am taking a photo of something pretty close, so I don't really need to worry about atmosphere. It wasn't a foggy day, or there wasn't anything getting in the way of dehazing. We will play with clarity here in a little bit, but for now, let's bring these skies down. Let's take these highlights. Let's start bringing the sky down. I'm going to bring it down generally now, like -70, but I'm going to play with it here in just a second even more. But I want to target only the sky. So for that, we're going to have to go to masking, right? Let's go to sky. Yep, Lightroom does a great job at targeting sky. There's just nothing else to be said about that. This one I might dehaze. There's the dehaze on the sky. Let's dehaze that a little bit. There's a little bit of purple in it. Not liking that little bit of purple. Let's take the tint towards green just a little bit. There we go. It's a little bit better. We're still getting a little bit of purple over here, but we'll play with that in a second. All right, now let's bring down the exposure a little bit on the sky. Don't want to overdo it. I'm not liking this green up in here. Let's take the temp towards warmer. That's too much. Go to about 7, I think is what we're looking at here. We still have this weird pink in it, though. Let's adjust the hue. Let me see if I can adjust the hue away from... There we go. I think that's doing better. Away from the pink. Let's adjust this hue just a little bit too. See, I think I have a sun flare or something up here in this top right corner. Here, I'm going to do it really drastically so you can see. See how the green's kind of taken over? I don't like that. I don't like the green. All right, so we'll leave that about there. Let's go ahead and take the saturation out of it. There we go. Now we're getting this guy where I want it. See, I don't like this almost color that we have in the sky, so I'm going to take the saturation out of it so that our eye is focused more on the colors of this. I don't want to take away from this very yellow, orange, brown color that we have here in the desert. So desaturating the sky sometimes might not be a bad idea. All right, there we go. I think that's looking good. Let's take the highlights down a little bit more. Just a little bit. Really like the texture in the sky, but I don't want to overdo it, okay? I want to see the clouds, not overdo it, all right? Now, this is a nice cloudy day. There's a lot of people here who would who when they do landscape photos, they're like, let's add sunbeams, let's add a flare and glow, and let's really like accentuate where the sun's coming from. This isn't the appropriate photo to do that with, right? So you got to know the difference between doing this and the appropriate time and the non-appropriate time. This would be considered the non-appropriate time. So now that we have that kind of taken care of a little bit, let's go ahead and let's do a little bit of dodge and burn on this. So dodging and burning is when you're taking certain parts of the photo and you're either lowering some of the exposure, taking the attention away from it, which is called burning, or bringing up some of the highlights, bringing up some of the attention to a part, which is called dodging. So dodging and burning here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the viewer focus on the cactus, and I'm going to take away some of the attention of this side stuff. Okay. So I'm going to create a new mask. I'm going to go to a brush. So this new brush, I want it feathered. I want a little bit more feather in it. Let's go ahead and give it that. Bring it down. Actually, I'm going to take some of this feather out because the cactus does have a pretty hard edge to it. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take it. I'm going to go here, go here, go here, just like that. Kind of feather in the edges right around the cactus a little bit. And go here, down here as well, up here. And then I might get just up here too. Boom. Okay, there we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start playing with these shadows and highlights here. And it kind of see, notice what's happening is the eye now is going more in towards the cactus as I bring these shadows and highlights down. I'm not going to do it too much. You know, I don't want it to be noticeable. But I do want it to take effect. You know. So like you wouldn't even notice it, right? If I didn't tell you that that's what I was doing here. There's your original photo. Here's our edited one so far. Very subtle differences, but it's enough to make a big difference, you know. I bring the exposure on all of it down just a little bit. Not too much, just about there. 0.03, you know, so not a whole lot. Great. All right, now let's add a little bit of a focus on the cactus itself. So I'm going to do a new brush. Focus here, here. And probably right up to about there. I actually want to delete some of this. I didn't mean to get so funky there. There we go. All right, let's give a little bit of a focus on this. Right there, really on the middle. All right, let's go ahead and bring up the exposure. Ooh, that's way too much. 0.15, but then if you bring up the exposure, you might have to bring up a little bit of contrast too. Maybe a 5. Let's bring down the shadows just a little bit. All right. So, without this mask, boom, with it. See how I'm just, it's almost barely noticeable. I'm clicking it back and forth right now. See how it's punching up the middle of the cactus just a little bit? It's going to draw the viewer's eye into that. I might even bring up the highlights a little bit more on this one. Sorry, let me bring in my dogs real quick. They're barking. Oh, come on in. Come on in. Sit. 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 Good boy. Sit. Sit. Good boy. Relax. Relax. Great. They get all excited. Get all excited to come inside, and then they run around for nothing. All right. All right, so now we're getting pretty good on this picture. I'm still seeing a lot of pink in this picture. I don't know if that's a new thing my eye is picking up on, or if it's just my perception of things, like if it's true, but I'm going to push this a little bit more towards green. Maybe there? How's that look? Original? Edited. Original? Edited. Maybe too much green? Let's go up to 5. Goodness, I have to type this in. There we go. All right, I think that's looking pretty good. All right, I think this picture's got some significant changes to it now. I'm kind of liking. All right, now I might darken up down here and then darken up this corner up here because it does look different than the rest of it. I think that was just a lens thing that happened. So let's go ahead and create a new mask. Go for another brush. Nice and big. I'm going to feather this one a lot. There we go. A lot of feathering here. There we go. Let's go down here. Let's go down on the flow. Let's actually delete this one. Let's do this again. Flow and density. Let's bring those down there. There we go. That's more what I wanted. You know, the stuff you do has got to be subtle. Give this corner just a little bit of love too. It's mostly focusing here. All right, there. All right, let's bring all this exposure down. So we're going to burn this just a little bit. What is going on here with this corner? There's some sort of... Okay, well, anyway, let's go to shadows. Bring the shadows in. There we go. And now I will fix this corner. Create new mask, linear gradient. I'm going to bring out... What's wrong with this? Too green, right? There we go. No. Set that. What's wrong with it? What is this? It's like it's too blue, almost. It's very strange. Let's go to the colors. Okay, hue shift doesn't do anything. Luminance shift, maybe? Luminance shift, no. The vibrance down, saturation shift down. What is with it? It's so strange. All right. Well, I think we mostly got it right there. And there's like too much pink over here. Too much green on this side, too much pink on this side. All right, let's do another brush. Nice and big. Right in there. We're going to take that, move that towards green just a little bit. There we go. That fixed that. Now let's give the whole thing nice pull down there. Just a little darken at the top just to bring the eye towards the middle. All right. Let's see. What is it, L? All right, there it is. Before, after. Before, after. No? There we go. All right, first one done. Actually, no, let's not finish it. I want to add a little bit of grain to this. And then I might want to add a little bit of luminance, reduce clarity on it. Let's go to effects, grain. There's 100% grain. Yeah, it's way too much grain. Just gonna add a little bit of grain into it, you know, just so you can see it kind of in the right there. So there's no grain, right? Super smooth. Add a little bit of grain to it, you know, give your photo some of that Arizona feel. There we go. Yeah, I like the grain now. Okay, let's do one more thing. Let's do one more mask. Let's go to create new mask. Let's create a luminance range mask. Let's bring this up. Don't want to get any of the cactus. I'm going to feather it out to the point that it's just getting all of that. There we go. Now we're going to go to clarity. We're going to reduce clarity. That's a lot. Just a little. Not going to reduce it too much. Just a little bit. -20. Looks good. Okay. Let's go back here. All right. Before, after. Before, after. Looks good. Looks good. Before, after. Cool. All right. There's a good photo. I like it. Our second photo. So what we can do, like I've got a little bit of style going here. So let's go back to the first photo. Let's go ahead and rip this style from it. All right. So I'm going to go Control-C. No point in having to do extra work. Why is Control-C? No. Nope. Okay. Weird. All right. Don't know why Control-C is not working. Right click, copy. Where I've never actually had to go in here. Develop settings, copy settings. There it is. Develop settings, copy settings. There we go. Now I get to pick. Oh my goodness. I'm not going to copy in the masking. I'm not going to copy in the cropping, but I want everything else. Grain, color, all that stuff. So I'm going to hit copy. Come over here. Control V. Control V. Control V. Oh, maybe it's because I'm not in develop. Control V. There we go. Look at that. Now, this made it a little too, it's a little too orange here. Let's back this up just a little bit. I'm going to back this up on the temperature scale just slightly. About there. Look, we can even put them side by side. Is it J? I don't know. Shift R. Okay. Drag and drop from the reference. Yeah, I have one right here. I want to drag and drop that. Lightroom does some weird stuff sometimes. Sometimes you want to drag a photo over and it just won't let you. There we go. All right. Now I can see these two together. right, so there's my reference photo. Here's the one I'm working on, right? So now I could see the difference between them, see what's changed, right? This one's got a little too much. The orange is too saturated and this one just a little bit. So I'm going to bring down the saturation. I might bring down the saturation overall and then bring back in some of this green. So let's go ahead and take saturation, bring that down. Not too much. Let's go to +2. Looks good. Okay, now I can get back out of this side-by-side view. Come back to my regular view, right? For you guys on landscape, sorry, for you guys watching vertically, I'm going to move this for you. You can see the middle. There you go. Because I'm looking at this little cactus here. This cute little cactus that was in the middle of the desert out of nowhere. Notice I put the horizon above my subject. You generally don't want to cut your subject in half if you can avoid it. So your subject, if it's low to the ground, you're going to be low to the ground. Keep your subject below the horizon line. But then if your subject's big and you're going to be looking up at it, put it above the horizon line. But generally try not to cut it in half. It's usually bad. Cutting things in half is not a good idea. So here, I've got most of the color settings in, I think. Let me see. Before, after. Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of liking it. There's already some green in it, which is good. I think I might want to make the green in this little guy pop a little bit. So let's go to color mixer. Let's go to saturation. Click the eyedropper tool. Let's bring up green a little bit. Let's just bring up green ourselves. Not really doing much. How about luminous green? Let's do it a little bit. There's a lot of yellow in this photo though. Okay, I think that's better. Now you can see the little bit of green in here. Don't like the green up in here though. Okay, it's not doing much. Sometimes you just got to grab the slider and crank it and see what happens. Not seeing anything change, to be honest with you. You just got to be honest sometimes. All right. Now, I want to bring the viewer's eye to the cactus. This one's going to be a little bit easier. I'm not going to dodge and burn a whole lot. I'm just going to mostly use linear gradients. I'm going to pull in here. I'm going to add linear gradient to this one. I'm going to pull in over here. I'm going to add another one. And we're just going nuts with these linear gradients right now. Not capture the sky too much. There we go. Now I'm going to bring the exposure down a little bit. I'm going to bring down the shadows. Bring down the highlights. Leave those midtones in there, kind of. I kind of want this grass here to be in there. But I'm just subtly bringing the eye into this little guy right here. Kind of like this little guy popping out. We create a new mask. Let's go ahead and dodge the cactus. Let's give a little bit of a radial gradient here. Make it a little... Make sure we don't get too high up on there. I really want to capture the edge of those needles, though. So I'm going to bring up the highlights in this. So you notice how it's capturing the edges of those needles a little bit? Pull up the exposure just a tiny bit. Just enough that it can be seen, but not enough that you notice. See, now without the mask, with the mask, without the mask, with the mask, without the mask, with the mask. See, it's just enough to bring up that cactus. And it kind of captures the eye more than anything else, right? So I might even come over here. I might dodge a little bit edge of this rock, maybe down here. So let's do that. So there's two ways you can dodge. You can either create the mask first on the picture and then bring down the exposure sliders, or you can create a new mask, go to brush. But before you do anything, you go ahead and bring down what you want to happen. So my flow and density is still pretty light here. My feather's pretty high. So it shouldn't do a whole lot unless I keep brushing on. Oops, didn't mean to grab that. See? Come in here. Down in there. Down in here. Let's go ahead and burn out this whole piece of grass here in front of the cactus, because I really want to give the cactus the attention here. There we go. So it's taking the eye away from stuff that it shouldn't be on. And now I'm going to come back through and give everything right on the edge here a little bit of a dodge. Let's create a new mask. Another brush. Let's bring up the exposure just slightly. The main thing I'm going to work on is the highlights. I'm going to bring up the highlights quite a bit. There we go. Right in here. Especially this rock face. Kind of like that. Kind of like a little bit of the grass through here. Right on top here. There we go. See, without, with, without, with. Notice how there's a very distinct like line that's showing up there, right? And you would never notice it unless I told you. So that is the key to editing photos, guys, is not to overdo it. Keep it subtle. Get the exposure, get the lighting right in camera so that when you go to do these kind of corrections on these photos, you're not overdoing it, right? You're not having to tweak things all over the place. Before, after, before, after. I'm loving it. Right now, let's last thing, let's work on the sky real quick. So I'm not super familiar with the new landscape stuff. Let's see if I can use it. Let's go to landscape mask options to see what options it gives me. So right now, Adobe's using AI to go through this whole thing. So I can select sky. I can select mountains. Okay. And I can select vegetation, which is pretty much the entire rest of the photo. Let's just click sky. I feel like that's the same thing as if I created a new mask and selected sky, but okay. Create mask. All right. Let's bring up down highlights. Yeah, let's bring down highlights. Let's bring down the exposure. Not too much. We can't bring it down too much because we've really elevated the look of this cactus here. I do want to bring the sky a little bit more towards the yellow because the cactus is very yellow. Here we go. Let's use a little bit of the dehaze. Not too much. Because there's not really a whole lot for me to work with in the sky, right? There wasn't a whole lot of variation. So again, I'm not forcing my hand on it. I do think I need to bring the exposure of the sky up a little bit, though. Oh, see, it's telling me where it's clipping. It's very helpful. And then let's bring down the shadows. So I do want some texture in the sky, you know? Okay, I think we're getting there. All right, I think right about there is looking good. All right, let's take a look at this photo. Before, after. Before, after. Before, after. Yeah, see, we've really created a very 3D, a very dimensional effect here. Especially here on this rock and right around the edges of the cactus. Before, after. Look how it pops. It almost pops out of the photo. That's what you're doing. That's how you're attracting attention to your subject. Great. All right. Let's move on to something a little different. This one's going to be a little harder. Very blue sky. Hazy afternoon. However, we're sitting in a cloud shadow, right? So the mountains are in sun. We're sitting in cloud. I think that's going to be cool. I think that's going to end up giving us some cool options here. So first of all, I see that the... All right, let's go to as shot here. Okay, white balance. Let's go ahead and see if we can correct the white balance here. Let's pick something a little gray. Maybe up in here. Oof. Oof. Try again. Up here. There we go. This is a little better. And it's almost honestly going, it's a little on the yellow side, but it's pulling the photo into the style that I kind of wanted anyway, right? I'm not going to be able to use the same exact style I was using on these other two in the middle of the desert, because now we're out in the... Now we're out in the mountains, right? So I don't want to use the same exact style. It's a little too green for my taste. Let's go ahead and pull that. Nope, that's not what I want. Put this on 0. Okay. Let's play with the whites and blacks first. Boom. What I'm doing is I'm holding Alt, and then as soon as I click the slider, it's adjusting things, right? So this made these blacks really dark. Bring it up just a little bit. Let's bring up the shadows a little bit here. I'm trying to be able to capture this whole photo. I don't need a super high contrast here, okay? Because I want to actually be able to see what the landscape is, right? I caught a lot of the foreground here. This band of trees right in the middle is darker than everything else, right? So again, that's where we're going to be able to work a lot with the tone curve. Classic tone curve. Just give it 2 points right in the middle of where the shadows and the highlights are. Ooh, I might have to delete that control point. Let's move it down here. Boom, right about there. Let's bring up these blacks just a little bit. Again, I want to keep my photo style the same. So I'm gonna raise those blacks a little bit. I don't have to do a whole lot of contrast here. Hey, my brother, can you chew that somewhere else, please? Thank you. Good boy. He's gonna come right behind me. Chew his bone. All right. So we pulled out the blacks. Just in case you guys are wondering. This is the Eternal Life Elixir. Let me get it in front of my face. There you go. Eternal Life Elixir. Energy drinks from just north of me, Bellingham. These things are phenomenal. So good. So good. All right. Let's go here. Let's see. What are we working with here? Let's do some lens corrections. This is one where I might want to enable profile corrections. I want to pull those mountains into me, so that I can really get a look, because those are the focus, right? The mountains there. All right, let's go through here. Let's go back to basics here for a second. I'm liking the highlights. The highlights in the mountain might be a little too much. Let's bring them down just a little bit. Bring some really good contrast in that sky. The sky is like almost like a painting in here, right? It's so blue. It's beautiful. Let's go here. Let's go to texture. Texture's fine. I think I might need to dehaze this a little bit. Dehazing is going to add contrast, so I'm going to have to pull contrast out after I do that. Let's dehaze just a little bit. And then let's take some of the contrast out. Not too much. I think maybe 10. There we go. Okay, I think that's working now. What's our saturation looking like on here? It's too much. Let's bring up the saturation to like 5. I would normally be using a loop deck for this, but I want to use my mouse so that you guys can see what I'm doing here. So now the contrast between the blues and yellows is really big. Let's go to the color mixer. Oh, I'm sorry, color grading. Let's do the classic yellow and blue and teal. orange teal. Add some orange to the highlights. Not too much. Let's go back here. It's too much. But we got to be very subtle with this. Honestly, I think right up in here. What about there's good. Yeah, we got a little bit of that in there. The sky is very, very blue. So we had the blue contrasting with the yellow here. All right. Now let's work on a little bit of cropping and straightening here. What I want to do is I want to click this and I want to take it across the image where the horizon line is. There we go. Now I also want to make sure that this U of the mountain is kind of the focus here. Right about there. Boom. All right, I think that's looking good now. I think that's straight and even. All right, let's add some masking here. Let's go to the sky, and I think I want to desaturate it a little bit. I think the blue's a little too strong. Yeah. Yeah, see how we're bringing that blue down? That's going better with the whole picture. I like that. I like that a lot. With the sky, sometimes there's just too much color in your photo. So I'm taking a little bit of that sky out. However, I do want to add a little bit of contrast to that mountain range. The mountain range looks a little faded out. Not the trees, just the mountain range. All right, so let's create a new mask. Let's go to the landscape. Let's let it do its thing. Hopefully it'll select mountains. Let's see how good the Adobe AI is. And I'm not sponsored by Adobe, so don't come at me. Oh, wow. Look at that. Oh, it did a perfect job. Again, not sponsored. Unless you want to. If you want to sponsor me, Adobe, let me know. Perfect. Look at that. Captured those mountains exactly how I wanted to capture them. All right, let's add a little bit of contrast in here. I think I want to let's just dehaze it. How about that? Now I can't decide. I think I want to sharpen it a little bit. Okay. All right. So now let's add a little bit of texture in there. How's that looking? Okay, so now those mountains are really starting to stand out. The sky is matching perfectly with the ground. I'm loving it. Okay, let's go up here. Let's bring up some of the shadows just a little bit. Because I want those mountains to stand out from the trees. You know? There we go. I don't think I'm going to play with the highlights too much. All right, let's see. Yeah, so now it's making the mountain stand out from the trees a little bit more. I like that. Okay. Good. Now, let's do the classic luminance mask. Luminance range mask. Let's grab it. Let's have it select everything that's... So this is the feathering, and this is what you want to grab, right? Sometimes I'll bring this down here. Now we'll grab this. We'll really play. We'll get exactly what we need, and then we'll feather out just a little bit. Not too much, just a little bit. Okay, now we can play with the clarity. So we're going to bring that clarity down. Give it that dreamy look. Everybody wants the dreamy look. Dream me out. All right, so that's too much, you know? That's the opposite direction. Makes it look like trash. So you're taking it, you're just bringing it down subtly. Just enough. It's almost like blooming the highlights and stuff, which is really cool. All right. There's that. All right. Last but not least, let's bring the eye to the mountains. The foreground is too bright. Let's do a linear gradient. Let's bring it up. Don't want to overcast the trees too much. Let's just go ahead and straight pull down the exposure on this. Go, not too much, but just enough. You know what's funny? I think this whole photo needs to have the exposure raised. And then let's do another one. Let's actually burn out the sides of these mountains. There we go. Really bring the eye in towards that middle. All right, let's try. Before, after, before, after. A lot of green in this photo. Do I want that much green? It's a great question. No, that looks bad. Let's bring it back to 0. Let's bring up the exposure. Too much. Let's bring those whites down just a little bit. Go. Oh yeah, I think that's looking good, boys and girls. Let's bring the focus in on this bowl here. We got enough on these mountain parts, but I think I want to bring in the focus on the bowl here. So let's dodge the mountain range edges here. Let's make this smaller. There we go. Let's bring up the exposure. Highlights. Boom. Right in here. Really making the edges of these mountains pop. Know what I'm saying? Know what I mean? There we go. There we go. Make that bowl really show. Man, I think that looks good. All right, what do you guys think? Before, after. Before, after. Let's take a little look. Boom, there it is. If it was printed. Looks good. I think I might even brighten up this cloud up here in the very top edge. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Let's go back here. Let's create another mask. Let's go to brush. Let's bring up shadows. Bring up exposure just a little bit. There we go. Let's bring up the exposure even more. There we go. There we go. That cloud matches a little bit more of the rest of them. Nice. Nice. I like it. I like it. Look at that. Cool mountain photo. Looks great. Looks great. All right, we got another mountain range here. You know, I think we might be able to use some of the settings on this last one. We're doing a great job. We're doing a great job, guys. Control C. Oh, wow. Control C worked this time. I don't know. Is that a Lightroom bug? Does anyone else have that issue? Lightroom, where you just Control C sometimes and it just brings up your crop icon and not the actual... Right, Control V. Oh, there we go. Ooh, a lot of yellow. A lot of yellow here. Let's go ahead and bring that down. Let's bring down some of the yellow saturation. All right, let's bring down all the saturation first. Let's go to the color mixer. Saturation, yellow. Let's bring that down a little bit. There we go. All right, now this photo's a little more balanced. I really like these reds in here. I want those reds to pop. Let's go ahead and just do that now. Let's grab the color wheel tool. Let's go here. Let's make these pop just a little bit. Yeah, really pull those reds up. That's cool. Before, after, before, after. A little on the green side on this photo. I'm gonna have to use my dial real quick, guys. That way I can do fine adjustments. So I use what's called a loop deck. It's basically a 6-dial contraption that goes next to my keyboard where each dial controls something specifically. I say this is too green. Move it towards pink just a little bit. Oh, it's not in. Of course, it's giving me a hard time. Oh, so I reset the tint. Okay. Well, it's not working, so screw it. Might just clip something. All right, let's go back to 0. All right, enter there. Let's go on here. Can I? Okay, that's 6. 6 towards pink. I think that's looking better. You know what I realized? I don't think I like the crop of this photo. Boom. Okay, there we go. I wanted that down on that 3rd line, right? If it's down here. How's that look? It's too much foreground. Is that just me? Too much foreground? Pull it up. Right about there. There we go. All right. Anyway, back to this one. Too pink. About there. I think right about there is looking good. Do I have grain in here? Yeah, I got some grain in it too. Lens corrections are good. Effects. Grain. About there. Add some classic Arizona grain in there. All right, I'm liking the blue. I think the blue, though, the same as the other one. I'm going to go ahead and mask out the sky. Bring down some of that blue. Because I really want the mountain ranges to be the things that are popping here, not the sky. Bring up the shadows. A little bit on the sky there. Okay. Because the sky is cool. Don't get me wrong. Let's dehaze it, which is going to bring back in contrast. I don't want to do it too much because I don't want the focus to be on the sky necessarily as much as I do the actual mountain range. All right, let's create a new mask. Let's see if we can select this mountain range. Dehaze it. Select landscape. See what you can do, Adobe. I guess we're dehazing the whole, all the mountains. It's fine. Whatever. Dehaze. Now, let's bring up the exposure. Not too much. Damn. 0.15, I think is good. So we can really see what's going on here, right? Now, this yellow is still really bothering me. So we might select the foreground. Actually, I might brush it all out. Let's brush it. And I want to bring down the exposure on them. Probably pretty significantly, as well as the saturation. Come down. See, I was kind of darkening all that. And now I will turn this up here in just a second too. Let's get this tree branch too. All right, let's bring down the exposure just a little bit more. Bring down the highlights. Go. Let's bring down the saturation. There we go. There we go. Now it's blending together nicer. That's much better. Not nearly as like... It was too punchy. It was taking away from the actual picture, you know? All right, I might burn these mountains here. And maybe burn out this cavern a little bit so it's much more prominent. So let's go ahead and do that. Create a new mask, brush. Straight take down the exposure. I can make this brush bigger. I'm going to burn these. Burn this here a little bit. There we go. I'm going to go into this valley. I'm going to burn this out just a little bit. I really want that to stand out. We need some more contrast here. Boom. And then I'm going to burn out this a little bit too. This edge, this. Yeah, you can see it working already. So I really want this cavern to stand out. So, like that. Maybe even a little bit over here. There we go. Look at that. See, if I was to really bring that down, I think those caverns are really crazy looking, but I'm not doing that. I'm not trying to, again, not trying to get too crazy here. Let's bring down the shadows, though. There we go. All right. Now we've got some good contrast going on here in the actual mountain. I might add a little bit of contrast to this whole photo, to be honest with you. Nope, that's not to the photo. That's just to my... Okay, let's bring that back to 0. That's looking good. Bring that exposure up. Let's go to 15. There we go. I think that's looking good. Looks like we might be missing out on some detail here in the highlights somewhere, but that's okay. All right, let's see. Before, after, before, after, before, after. All right. I'm not liking this darker blue here. Let's go ahead and do a mask. Let's do a radial. Let's bring this out like that. Catch it right about there. Let's go ahead and bring the saturation down. Not too much. Then raise the shadows. I would raise the exposure. Yeah, there we go. Now we're getting somewhere. There we go. It's taken some of the before, after. It's taken some of that crazy lens distortion slash oversaturation almost. Balancing it out a little bit. Before, after. Before, after. Look at that. Look how that canyon range really pops now. It's good. I think we did a good job. Let's go. Boom. There it is if it was printed. Not bad. Not bad at all. All right. That one's cool. So you can see we kind of got a theme going here. These yellows and reds really punching through. Not this one so much. This one's more of a mountain range. Not a whole lot of yellow and red in this one, but that's okay. But the colors that we used in this one are going to be perfect for the next one too. Let's go to the color mixer. Actually, you know what? Let's play with something real quick. Yeah, see, those are all like very, very orange. Let's go to creative. Warm shadows. Yeah, that's very aged photo. Cool matte. Yeah, so whenever you add a preset onto something, let's say aged photo. Can I take off the preset though? That's great. Click it. So aged photo, you can then bring it down right here and where it says amount. Bring that down. That way you still get the effect of it, but it doesn't need to be as strong, you know? Yeah. Well, let's Control Z that. There you go. I don't want that on there. But let's Control C on this. Take these settings. Boom. Come over here. Blast that on there. It really brought out a lot of the color. I think we could use some more though. What did it do as far as no sharpening? The grain's on there. Yep, good. All right, grain's on there, which is good. Nothing else crazy, really. All right, this one might require a lot more dodging and burning, you know? There is some beautiful cut straight through canyons here, some pretty mountain ranges. Might keep these nice and dark. I might brighten up this, but then darken these. Yeah, let's do that. Let's go to mask. Let's go to brush. Let's go ahead and do the burning first. Go. Burn that out, just like that. Can't burn it too much because there's some highlights here. There we go. A little bit less, a little bit more subtle on that burn there. So we got some burns in there. Let's go ahead and like burn out just a little bit up here, right along the... Let's burn out just a little bit down over there. Just along that range there. There we go. So that really pops there. That's better. All right, now let's go ahead and dodge. Let's use another brush. This one, let's bring up the exposure just a little bit. Let's bring up the highlights. So for this one, we're gonna dodge like right here. We're gonna dodge up here. Dodge right in here. I want to dodge this whole valley, to be honest with you. Not really doing a whole lot right now. It's okay. And there. Dodge this up. Dodge that. There we go. All right. Let's create a new mask. Let's go to a luminance range. Let's go ahead and take this. Go ahead and pull the feather all the way in at first. There we go. I'll bring the clarity down on that. Go. Let's go ahead and work on the sky here real quick too. Let's go ahead and add a little bit more punch to the sky. Landscape. Select landscape. I could also just hit sky. I don't know why I did this. I just have wanted to play with the let's dehaze it a little bit. There we go. Let's also desaturate a little bit. Oof. There's some green creeping in over there on the edge. You see that? Ugh. I don't want to dehaze too much. Just a little bit. Go ahead and bring the exposure down a little bit. About the highlights. Where's this green coming from? Okay. Before, after, before, after. I think the whole photo's too green. That's way too pink. Maybe right in there. Maybe a 6. See, if I put over here, it's going to make it really pink. Boom, really pink. But if I go here, Let's add a little bit of yellow into this. Reduce the pink. Six, I think. I think that's about good. I don't know how I feel about all the yellow in the highlights. Let's see. Let's see about these yellows. This green up in the clouds is really bothering me. I'm just gonna brush it out. There we go. About 20. That evens it out. There we go. That's a little better. I think I might take the grain out of this one. It's got enough old-timey grain feel to it. All right, let's take a look at what happens if I go more yellow. I mean, I think like 50. 55 was like kind of where it was at. The more yellow we go, though, the more. Kind of like the more yellow look. How about that? Original, edited, original, edited. Kind of like the yellow. All right, let's bring the exposure back down to a reasonable level. I think 19's perfect. All right. I think we're about to hit it. I think we're about to hit it. Is there... What is this? Let's see. Lens corrections. Nope. Okay. Viltrox 20 is what I was shooting this on. Might be part of the problem. I mean, it's good lens, don't get me wrong. But all right, let's burn out this right here. I don't like that how this pulls the attention a lot. Let's go ahead and create a new mask, brush, big brush. You can also go to, actually, let's delete this. I want to try that. Let's go to object, create new mask. Oh my God, did I delete all my masks? Okay. Whew. Delete mask 6. There you go. Create new mask, select object. I'm basically just telling it what I want. Yeah, it knows. Cool. There we go. See how that takes the attention away from that, pulls it more up here to this, to the rest of the picture. That's what I want. There we go. Look at that. Before, after, before, after. Beautiful. I really like this, like little valley down in here. I almost want that to pop out even more. Where's the... Yeah, here we go. Here's the... Bring that out just a little bit more. There we go. Perfect. Thinking that looks pretty good. Not this, though. Not this right here. So now I go here, I go to subtract, brush. Go. That looks better. There we go. All right. I think this one's just about done. Very dreamy look. Very creamy pink. Let's make sure it's even. Let's go to our crop. This is where you do angle right here. I mean, it looks like it's almost dead on. It's so close to being dead on. Right here to right. There. There we go. Bam. There we go. What is this is driving me crazy though. What is this? What is this weird? Go. Let me add some of the brush to this too. Brushing out some of that green. Yeah. Shit. At this point, I may as well just fucking do it to the whole sky. Damn, it looks good. Go. That looks better. There we go. Looks way better. All right. There we go. Let's see. Before, after, before, after. I don't need you to show me clipping. Nice. Great job. Great job, guys. All right. This one's good. This one's very similar to this one. Thinking we grab this. Look at all the dust specks on this camera. It's so bad. There's a way to fix that. Corrections. Visualize spots. Oh my goodness. So much dust. Just cancel. Let's go to heal. Oh my goodness. So bad. So much dust. Let's just get all the biggest ones. It was so dusty out there. Let's see. Let's see if this helps. All right, let's see if that worked. All right. Yeah, I think so. I think so. I think so. What do you guys think? Except for this right here. Where the fuck that is. Cancel. There we go. That's much better. Much better. Let's go to effects. This photo's almost done, to be honest with you. I don't think we need to add that much grain. Go. Lens corrections, detail. What if we brought this back over to like... These are the red rocks of Sonoma. Like that. There we go. There we go. Yeah, let's bring that back around to the red. Let's bring this to yellow. Boom. Let's go to this. Let's desaturate green a little bit, or let's change the hue of green more towards yellow. Go. Same with this one. Let's take green. Let's actually saturate green a little bit. Just a little bit. Take green more towards green. Kind of accentuates this. There we go. I like the band of green here. Yellow, green, red. It's a good combo. Let's make these rocks stand out now. Let's go here. Let's go landscape. Yes, mountains. It does pop a little bit. That. There we go. Let's dehaze it a little bit. There we go. Now those mountains like really pop there. I like that. Like that a lot. All right, now is this straight? That's the question here. Can't tell because we're on a hill, but I think it is. However, I do want to bring in the crop. I don't need this much. There we go. Now I might linear gradient out. It's foreground. There we go. Might give a radial gradient here. Pop these highlights more. Make those whites pop a little bit. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Look at that. I might need to add some texture to this. All right, let's look at the detail. Sharpening. Oh, alt. Oh, this is what I need. There we go. Looking good. Look at this. I'm crushing it, guys. I don't like this plant here. See how this remove tool works. Nope, nope, it's here too. Let's see. Oh. Okay. 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 All right. Oh, there's a little bit of up here still. Let's go. Let's get that out of here. I'm guessing I did a perfect job. Yeah, it's gone. Perfect. Look at that. Look at that. All right. Before, after. Before, after. Man, we really made those mountains pop. Popped. I love it. This photo is going to be perfect copy over here. Same rocks, same colors. Don't know what it's pasting over. It's pretty. The greens are very. Go. Let's go ahead and grab this. Go. This one will be good for a dodge and burn. Actually, I think we can even just use a linear gradient, to be honest with you. Pulling it into almost here. Watch. To right about here. Go. Let's add to this another linear gradient here on this side. Go. That. Really make this path pop, right? There we go. All right. So what I'm looking at is trying to get this path to really be the thing that's popping out here. The highlights in this whole photo are a little too high, though. Bring the highlights down. Now we can pop the path. Pop the path. Let's use brush. There we go. Let's bring down the whites on the path. And the highlights. Again. Let's just bring up the exposure just a little bit. Let's go ahead and use a little bit more saturation here. There we go. Making that path kind of stand out. Before, after, before, after. See how subtle we do things? Very subtly. Very subtle. Liking it. So these are our landscape photos now. Completed. I like this one a lot. So, very Arizona style. So there's some 7 different photos, landscapes edited. You saw how to dodge and burn. You saw how to play with saturation, how to fix clouds when they got weird stuff in them. How to bring the eye in onto the focus of your subject. Boom, like these. Doing it all subtly enough that it's not like a massive change in the photo, right? You're not doing crazy stuff. You're just directing the viewer's eye to what you want them to see. This one might need some work. I'm not sure why, but I'll figure that out later. Anybody got any ideas? Let me know. Anyway, great landscape lesson we had here. Session getting done. Good job, guys. Appreciate you being here with me. And I will see you on the next one.